Taniela, he is the most gifted prop I think I've ever seen. He's as strong as anyone I've ever seen. Yeah. He's athletic. He's on there. It's just some of those mental lapses at scrum time in his game just let him down a bit.
Is that fatigue, Tuck? Because I'm also imagining that when the Wallabies are playing this high-tempo attack, we're going phase after phase after phase, there's a mistake, and then you've got to set. Is that fatigue what might be causing some of the problems there and the losses? Is that where he's being held back?
It could be. It could be. I think he's improved out of sight. The last 2 games around the paddock, he's played really well, a lot better than he had been, and he's come back well. Like, it was a slow start. We all saw the game against the Waratahs versus the British Island Lions. He wasn't at his best, but he worked hard for the First Nations, played really well in that game and got back in. And let's be honest, I think he could have made the difference in that second Irish Lions game. I think that's... Everyone's sort of blaming the last play at the end. They're blaming sort of a few different things. But, when Alan Alatoa got injured in that Test match, his shoulder got injured very early. Our scrum was under immense pressure in the second Test at the MCG. But then you saw what it was like at the third Test. It was a different outfit, and you need 2 good tight end props if you're going to have a successful scrum in World Rugby.
I'll just quickly say as well, in the last 2 games, I think he's been one of our best forwards.
Yes.
He's creating opportunities. You saw some of the highlights there in the Italian game. He's getting over the gain line. The Wallabies probably didn't capitalise on what Taniela was able to do as best as they should.
Yeah. My frustration with Taniela isn't because he's not playing at this level. It's not because it's because he's not the best in the world with daylight. That's how good I think he could be.
Yeah.
He is naturally gifted. He's strong. He can get away with some bad techniques in the front row because he is so strong and powerful. I've never seen someone to be able to do that. So if he can really just be really accurate at scrum time and be disciplined and get it right, like, he could be so good.
It's funny you say that about, like, he could get away with some, slight inaccuracies in technique and how strong he is. We had James Slipper on the coverage on the weekend and he was saying sometimes Nella just misses the hit, and the problem he has a little bit at the moment is he misses that hit and then he sort of pulls out of the contest, but he's actually strong enough that even if he doesn't win that initial engagement, if he just holds and stays in it, he eventually will obliterate anyone, which is a huge endorsement from a bloke who played 151 tests in the front row. Guy who's replacing Slipper now, Angus Bell, where does he sit in the scheme of talent?
Almost similar, very similar, different player, but he has so many naturally gifted talents. We saw last spring tour around the paddock. That's the best I've seen a loosehead prop player in the paddock in my career. Best I've seen a prop player in the paddock. He's like a second number 6 or 8. Similar for Angus. Just some things at scrum time have probably let him down. Like, really, I would have loved to have seen him starting in the British Irish Lions for us because he is such a gifted ball player, such a gifted ball runner, and his scrummaging at times is really good. He just got to work on that and make it world class because... the mix of our team, especially what I said earlier about second rowers, we're depending so much on Bell and Taniela to run that ball. So, look, as I said, our performance at the scrum has been good. We were solid against England, solid against Italy, but I want to compare us against South Africa.
Yeah.
And they are the benchmark at scrum time, and what they do as an 8 and individually is what it should be set as the standard. And there's no reason why this Wallaby scrum can't be as good as that.
We know Angus Bell is going to get some broader experience straight after this tour. He's staying in Ireland after that last test against France because he's going to play for Ulster next year. What do you make of that move, Shep? We'll get both of your thoughts.
It's an interesting one. I think Angus Bell's world class, and Tuck talks about Taniela Tupou. I think Angus Bell has got the ability to be in the top 5 props in the world. Has he been at his best since we've arrived in Europe? Probably not. I don't feel like the Wallaby attack, is using him the best way. He's too narrow. I think he can work in well around the ruck. We need a little bit more space so he can use that balance and agility to get through holes, passing game to create more opportunity. And at the moment, we'll dive into it a little bit later, he's a little bit too narrow. But I think he's going to carve it up in the UK. Players like that are a diamond, are so rare, And as Tucky said, when you've got someone like that, that's basically an extra 6, 7 or 8 on the field. It's a huge advantage and makes him so valuable.
You reckon good opportunity to learn variations in his craft, playing Northern Hemisphere, given the way they traditionally like to play rugby?
I just like what he's done for his sabbatical. So he could have gone to the south of France, he could have gone anywhere, but he's a true prop.
He's gone to Belfast.
He goes to Belfast to drink Guinness. He sounds like he's...
You mean play rugby?
Play rugby. So, you know what I mean? Like, I think it'd be good for his rugby. I'd just love to see him just keep working on his scrummaging because at times he scrummages really well, and if he scrums as well as he can, I'm talking about him and Taniela being our best ever props of Australian history, and they're that talented and that good. So I hope they can just, both by going overseas, they can just, what do they say, put a few more arrows in there. Whatever you call, wherever you put your arrow, and get better.
Strings in the bow.
Strings in the bow, whatever. I should try analogies.
Arrows in the quiver.
Front rowers should never do analogies.
Strings in bows,
Front rowers
arrows
should
in
never do
quiver.
analogies unless it involves drinking.
We knew what you were saying,
scrummaging, you know.
Yeah, no. And mate, you've dropped a ringing endorsement of Bell and Tupou, and I think they both have the ability to be, best front rowers ever in Australia, and it's a pretty
high praise.
stacked class.
Yeah,